All right, real quick video, Israel. I'm gonna call this "Get You a Tracie Ellis Ross," and you know, apostles have said, making it clear, don't mess with the black women. Now there's a few exceptions for sincere so-called black women, you know, but not too many at all. But uh, and some brothers might believe that Tracie Ellis Ross is a Israelite, but my my take on her is that she's an Edomite as far as what my spirit is, seeing. But this is her father. That's her father, you know. And by the way, giving all praises, like always, giving all praises to Yahweh by Shem Yahushai, by Shem Rakah Kadash, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai. Double honors to apostle, elders, great millstone, must I taste to the brothers teaching word for the hopeful elect, soon to be elect, most high will, to the hopeful extend elect, shalom, blessings. And more so the reason I say use Tracie Ellis Ross as an example, because she's dingy, she, even when she's trying to be sexy, she's kind of like dingy, kind of goofy a little bit, always comedic. And she has really, I've really never seen her with no black woman's attitude. Uh, you know, I've really never seen her get mad, and so that's mainly what I'm talking about. Um, and she said herself, here's another picture of her. I think that's, well, yeah, I think this is her father when she was young, which is the same guy, but that's them when they were younger. So I guess he had two children and if you compare like Diana Ross, I think she got children by Barry Gordy. I think that's the child on the left by Barry Gordy. And he probably has like a few more children. And so no matter what Diana Ross is the, father has the seed. The Barry Gordy's daughter's on the left, Tracie Ellis, and then the father and her other daughter, I think that she might be by him too, the so-called white man in the middle, the one on the right. But and to me, they got complete different spirits. I've seen them, and Tracie Ellis Ross, she even said that she has no rhythm, she can't dance, which really doesn't completely imply that you're Edomite, because it's some Israelites that can't dance. A lot of them, but they can't catch a rhythm if you teach them. But Tracie Ellis Ross, she knows that particular side of her. She actually said that yeah, I can't dance and I can't catch a beat because that's the white side in me. Uh, so, but as far as her career, she played on what's that show? Not Living Single, that other one, Girlfriends, I think. Along with Kim Fields, I think it was. No, that was the other one. I forget their names that she, the actresses that she stars with. I forget their name, but um, and Diana Ross, she's a hoe hopper. She done been with plenty of men, Billy D. Williams and all them. She's an industry whore, and that's just the truth of the matter, Uh, so she got a nice figure, Tracie Ellis Ross. You see her with her curly hair, and that doesn't always imply that you're an Israelite. So, and it's basically the spirit overall, you know. But so far as, I recollect of what I see, she's an Edomite. If you are of what your father is, you know. So, and I haven't really seen her father as far as, I don't know if they have interviews of him. I haven't seen his spirit, so I really can't say much. I really can't completely determine her as a Edomite, but um, but in the case that she was, like I said, her personality doesn't have nowhere in it the so-called black woman. No attitude, uh, no rolling her eyes. I don't think she can. She don't. I don't even think she knows how to roll her eyes and neck. So that's what I'm talking about. Like, get you a Tracie Ellis Ross if you're gonna get anything close that looks like a so-called black woman. Because Jake, a lot of Jakes are fixed on the so-called black woman. I mean, and it's not surprising or wrong. I mean, because we grew up with our own women, attracted to our own women, you know, and when our women are in order, they're and on point and submissive. They're the full package. Um, but even when she gets mad, she doesn't, you know, she doesn't go all out her way to show herself as, yeah, I'm this nigga, that nigga, f that, f this. I've never seen her like that. So, you know, it's more of what the spirit shows. So it indicates, and that, like, it seemed like it would indicate that she's an Edomite. But like I said, overall, according to the spirit, and overall, it's more detection than, of course, what they look like outwardly. And sometimes you gotta test the spirit thoroughly. Sometimes we know right off. And they might call it guessing, but we could point things out and be like, nah, that's definitely Edomite, or that's definitely Israelite. So, yeah. Anyway, and there's such thing as concubines in the Bible. Uh, our women probably don't like that word, especially when they find out that we can have concubines. A lot of them would probably argue that we are not going to have our concubines in the kingdom, which is false. But what's the Hebrew word for it? Let me see.
Strong's H6370. Pelegesh. Second entry. Pelegesh. Third entry. Pelegesh.
Same thing. It says Payalagash. Payalagash. I guess you could pronounce it too. Concubine, paramour. Doesn't say too much, but I think I went to the chat. DTP. It says a concubine is a woman who lived with a man, usually a king, emperor, or a wealthy noble, in a long-term relationship without being his legal wife. Historical role, common in many ancient and pre-modern societies, China, the Middle East, parts of Africa, and North Europe. Status lower than a wife, a queen, but higher than a servant. Yeah, I mean, because servants, the strength of servitude was by the male, Even with Esau having our people in slavery, when he had Negroes in the field working, but a concubine could be under him in his house. So of course, if you have a concubine, they could, not that a woman's over a man, but they could be more important or more useful for your needs, that they would be treated higher than their servant. Uh, Children in some cultures, children of concubines could be recognized as legitimate or inherit titles because, too, along with that, I mean, if you have a concubine and you have like, if somebody got with Tracie Ross, an Israelite got with Tracie Ross, or someone uh, that he looked as a concubine, that has as a concubine, and, though she had an Edomite father and she's, or any other nation, the child that they would have with that nation, the child that the Israelite would have would be an Israelite child, no matter what nation, women of any nation that he slept with. Slept with a Chinese woman, have an Israelite baby. Slept with a Elamite woman, East Indian woman, have an Israelite baby. Sleep with a Edomite woman, have an Israelite baby. Sleep with a Arab woman and have a Israelite baby. So, if a man has someone like similar like Solomon, 700 wives, 700 concubines, and you have a whole house full of women like that, any woman you sleep with in that house is going to be an Israelite child. So that's going to be your domain. That's going to be your province, your kingdom. And everybody that's born of your loins is going to be admitted to your kingdom as your son, to inherit what you inherit. So you have some called the sons of Israel, the sons of God. Every race of people is not a son of God. You have sons of God, you have sons of men, you have sons of the wicked. So that lets you know that the man is the leading factor when it comes to children being born, which comes from the word sons, basically. But, in that spirit of personality, character, that doesn't show the character of the personality of the so-called black woman, because really that's devil activity, that's demon. They even have a word for it. I'm on demon time. The so-called black woman, when she's rolling neck, rolling her eyes, being out of order, loud, that's really demons. That's really demons on her. And demons probably from a lot of the men that she slept with, because that never goes away. She only supposed to have one man, unless by law that man passes away, and then so forth with the law. But she's a fairly pretty woman, and she's, in my eyes, she seems like she's a submissive kind of woman, even though the roles she played, they kind of demand a little bit more than, the submissive women we often relate to as being wife material and virgin material. But she pretty close to, being that kind of submissive woman, even in the eyes of the public. So, and I don't know if he's a so-called Jew or whatever. But, yeah. And then Diana Ross, she definitely is right. But like I said, the mother doesn't determine what the seed is. They play a part in nursing. Probably looks like, people say, I could see, you look kind of like Diana Ross. I could see that being your mother. But it doesn't have nothing to do with the overall, you know, her being the seed of uh, of the parent. That's the seed of the father. You know. Uh, so there are some similarities, like her eyes and all that. But she's a woman. I mean, it's almost like, and I'm gonna close out before I start talking too much. But it's almost like the woman saying, the baby looks just like you. Who the baby look like? More of the man or more of the woman? More of the father, more of the woman. Well, one day the baby's gonna grow a beard and a mustache. All right. So of course, when you're a child, a lot of the sons, the children, sons, they can look like a girl. You can't tell if it's a girl or a boy, because it's a baby. And then come on, you get older, start becoming into your manhood. And somebody could say, well, I could see that you look just like your mother, or whatever. You got a nose or whatever. Those kind of things. But the whole makeup of gender is different. Men grow beards and mustaches, women don't. And women, if they have a mustache, they get talked about. Or if they have short hair like a man, they get talked about. Or some of those things, man. And but those are just, and if a man act feminine, women talk about him. Or he gets talked about, not only by women, but men. So we suffer the same kind of, if they see us acting out of character of what a man should be, we get the same backlash. So we carry that responsibility too, especially when it comes to finances. But of course, our women really don't understand the Bible, and that we're cursed, and that we got a wicked ass system over us, a confederacy of elite men over us that make laws outside of this Bible against the so-called black man, Latino, Native American man. So they make it much harder to keep that ideal of what a man should be and what a man should look like in this world. Not so much to dress, but so much as to because they feel like a man should possess enough to take care of a woman and his children, and he should. Enough money to take care of a woman and his children, he should. But that's not always the case, because discrimination, because of racism, because of if you do the math on this system, it doesn't add up. It's unfair, and it's unjust. But anyway, sometimes Jake could slip through the cracks and maneuver and find him a bomb-ass woman, find him, or a submissive woman, even if she's a so-called black woman, being a Judite for real. But a lot of times in this day, that's neither here nor there, and there's a lot of misses than hit. So a lot of times, Jake just gets what he can, and it's not really the best out of the bunch, the best grape out of the clusters. And they could say that about us. I don't mind. We're not we don't have to be the most handsome men in the world. Women got their preferences of financial men, what kind of men that they want, financially, looks, and all that. Sometimes, even with the prettiest women, we don't fit the bill. So, whatever. But anyway, get a submissive woman, even if she's a concubine, man. Even if she's a Edomite, if she's in order and online, and she's a help. What's the problem? Anyway, and I did talk too much, but it had to be said like that. Paramore. Anyway, so that's what I really mean by it. Not because she's famous, not because she's pretty, but because what she portrays. And she got the big hoop earrings, you know, right here. And so she could fit, pass as a black woman. Just like a lot of women in Hollywood, the black women in Hollywood pass as being white. And I'm going to probably get into that a little bit in the near future. But anyway, I think that's it. And there's plenty of scriptures on concubine. Now, concubine is not in the New Testament, but it does point out the fact that there are men that had more than one wife. And they said if you're a bishop, which means leader, be that of one wife, because you got so many responsibilities. Come on, if you got 2 or 3 wives, that can easily take you, not all the time, but it can easily take you away from, your scriptures, you're doing videos, your ministry. So that's why it says be of one wife. That doesn't mean if you have 2 or 3 or 4 that you're going off with the Most High. And you can have concubines. Anyway, to the next video, shalom.